So we are continuing exercise 20-25, where we are creating the production cost report for the second department. So we've determined the whole units, and we've determined the equivalent units. Now we're going to move on to the costs. And notice the first section is costs to account for. So going back to Excel where I've set up the T accounts, remember, costs to account for are the units that were in the beginning balance. In other words, these units were unfinished at the end of the last accounting period and become this period's beginning balance of unfinished units. And then we've got the units that were started. So basically these started units were transferred in from the previous department, and then we added more costs to them in this bottling department process. So our units to account for are the beginning balance, and then our additional costs to the transferred in units. So our labels are going to be beginning work in process and costs added during the period. So to get the costs, we need to look at this section here of our data table. So notice we are working with the beginning work in process. So we need our transferred in costs, which are right here. So they had $1,500 of transferred in costs, $0 of direct materials, and conversion. Now remember, conversion costs are two things. They are direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. So we have to add these two together. So that's $930. And total costs, you can either add these three up, or you can just get it from here. Total costs. Then we're going to move on to costs added during the period. And the first number we need is the transferred in costs. So these costs added during the period are the ones that are the units that were transferred in from the previous department, and then we added our new costs to them. But the costs that were transferred in from the previous department are right here, $132,800. Paste that here. And then the direct materials that we've added to them, which is the bottle for the bottling department, are $33,000. And the direct labor and manufacturing overhead, those comprise conversion costs. So we need to add those up. And those are $56,000. These two added up are $56,470. And then for total costs, you can either add these three up or just copy and paste this number. And now we have total costs to account for. So we add these numbers up, and we get $134,300. Tab to the next field, $33,000 of direct materials. So these two numbers added up equals $57,400. And then our total costs are $224,700, which are these two numbers added up, or these three numbers added up. Now we're going to divide by total equivalent units of production. And where do we get that at? Right here on this row. So we're going to take 170,000, paste it here. 150,000 for direct materials, paste it here. 164,000, copy, paste it here. So now what we're going to do to get the cost per equivalent unit, we're going to take this number, the total cost to account for, and divide it by the total EUP. So we want 134,300, 134,300 divided by the 170,000. gives us 79 cents. Let's see if there's any rounding rules. There probably is rounding rules. Don't forget, enter a 0 for any zero balances. Round all costs per unit to the nearest cent and all other amounts to the nearest whole dollar. So if we got 0.791, we would round this to 0.79. Now we've got 33,000 divided by 150,000 gives us 22 cents. Then we've got 57,400 divided by 164,000 gives us 35 cents. So to get the total costs, we're just going to add up these three. 0.79 plus 0.22 plus 0.35 gives us $1.36. All right, and now we are on the costs accounted for. So remember, costs accounted for are the units completed and transferred out and the ending balance of units. Those, and remember the ending balance, these units that are in the bottling department at the end of the period are there because they are incomplete. So the completed ones are transferred out and the incomplete ones still stay in there to be finished on the next period. So our labels are the units that are completed and transferred out, and then the ending work in process, the ending balance, in other words. So the way we're going to calculate the transferred in costs for completed and transferred out, see if I can scroll up and see everything. We're going to take this 150,000 right here, that's completed and transferred out, and multiply it by 0.79 times 0.79 gives us $118,500. And then for our direct materials, we're going to take 150,000 times 22 cents. So we're going to take 150,000 times 0.22 gives us 33,000. And then for conversion costs, we're going to take 150,000 times 35 cents. So 0.35 times 150,000 gives us 52,500. And then our total costs, you're just going to add these three up. 11850. Oops, I forgot a 0 here. So I need to add a 0 there. Plus 33,000 plus 52,500 gives us $204,000 of total costs. And then our ending work in process, we're going to take the 20,000 times 0.79. So clear it. 0.79 times 20,000 gives us 15,800. And then for direct materials, we're going to take 0 times 22 cents gives us 0. For conversion costs, we're going to take 14,000 times 35 cents, 14,000, which I get from up here, times 0.35 equals 4,900. And then to get the total, we're just going to add 4,900 and 15,800. 15,800 plus 4,900 gives us 20,700. Now what I need to do is I need to add these two up, put the total here. So this gives us 134,300. This is obviously 33,000. This is 57,400. And this is 224,700. Then in the last video, we will do the last two requirements, which is to prepare the journal entry to record the cost of units completed and transferred out, and then we're going to post to the work in process inventory account for the bottling account. So come back for that.